How are you guys doing today? Hope everybody's having a great day. My name is Brian. I'm with Bluefoot Homestead, and to come right out and answer the question, yes, absolutely, and it's probably going to happen. I got some information from a book I read from Brigadier General Robert Spalding. He was an Air Force general, spent time in the Pentagon, the White House, and stuff like that. He knows the military. And he read a book a few years back called Unrestricted Warfare. And what this is two colonels from the PLA, the Chinese military, put together a doctrine to present to the government and the military in China on the best way to completely achieve their goals. So, first off, China is a very patient country. They guide a lot of their lives, their policies, the decisions that they make on tradition. A lot of Asia is based on tradition. A lot of many places are based on tradition. The United States, we don't really have tradition. We're basically a brand new country. We've only been around for, a little over 250 years. So we're very spontaneous. Our country was built on impulse, invention, things of that sort. China was built many thousands of years ago, and they carry on the traditions. So believe it or not, and you guys might hate me for this, but China is a very peaceful country. Asia pretty much totally is a peaceful country. China does not believe in conventional war. So in some good news, they definitely do not believe in nuclear war. The only reason they have the weapons is they kind of have to be able to compete, to be able to deter people, but they're not a country to use them. In fact, they look at it traditionally as it's a massacre against mankind. They definitely don't want to do it. They don't look at it as a good thing. They don't look at it as a real power tool. So I'm not really worried about nuclear escalation. Sorry about that. I'm not really worried about nuclear escalation with them. I'm going to add something on to the end of the video, so watch to the end. I'm going to sum everything up, the whys, the wheres, and I'm going to give a little thing at the end that isn't mentioned in any of this that I think is substantially important to this whole thing. So I actually took notes here, so I'm going to refer to my phone now and then because I actually started this video a minute ago and I just went completely ADD on everything. So yeah, a lot of the book is based on a concept called stealth warfare, kind of a silent warfare. And that is warfare that is not kinetic. No bullets, no bombs, no missiles. How to overrun an opponent, basically using more or less a more peaceful way of doing it. They have a huge cyber division in their military. Thousands, I think hundreds of thousands of people is what they said. Not including their multimedia 50-cent army, where they get paid 50 cents a post to post online to basically show everybody that China is the good guy here. So that's one thing to keep in mind too. As things escalate, we're going to see a lot of things that we're the bad guy and China is the good guy, which isn't completely false, but it's going to be a lot of propaganda that comes out because they have a lot of people pushing it on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all the social media platforms, even regular media, and I'll get to that in a second. But they really believe in this theory that a stealth warfare is going to be the way to go. Now, when it comes to these things, it's really hard to see where the attack is coming from. Just like cyber, 0 days and stuff like that. You don't know where it's coming from for months, and months in warfare is an eternity. So they even go right in the face of people. Like for instance, they went to Marriott hotels, and one of the top executives at Marriott hotels liked a post on Twitter that was talking about Tibet not being a part of China. That man got fired. So how did he get fired? China got into it and made it happen. So this is the kind of silent warfare that plays. Now it's they have a list of probably 50 types of warfare in silent, from psychological to social media. The internet, food, water, politics, economy, on and on and on and on and on. They have a very large, quite scary list on things that they can use as warfare. And they're going to use them. Actually, Disney got a call from the Chinese military to make more Chinese-friendly movies for the kids, to kind of brainwash the kids and start them early, and they complied with it. I'm not sure the exact productions that they put out. That's something I wanted to look into before I actually started this video, but I didn't. So I don't have those facts and that information for you, but according to the general, this is what they did, and Disney jumped when they said jump. China is an extremely powerful country. We've never come up against a formidable military or competition ever. I mean, World War II, yeah, we did. But every war outside of that, you know, Iraq, Kosovo, you know, I mean, we have overpowered everybody else so much that, yes, we got experience out of it, but we've never come up with a true fight. Russia isn't counting. That's not part of this. A big one that they did was drug warfare. I'm sure everybody's heard of fentanyl. That is Chinese warfare that's been going on for quite some time. We've been hearing about it for some time. It is from China. It's illegal in China. Most of the internet's illegal in China as well, but you know, they have the Chinese firewall. But fentanyl, they were not going to get prosecuted. They weren't going to get in trouble for anything if it was getting shipped over to the United States. In fact, they encouraged it. They wanted the drugs to get over here. They've shipped it through Mexico, and they've shipped it directly to the United States to mass distribute it. Now, they did the same thing with opium. A long time ago, hundreds of years ago, I forget the war that it was, but under a different dynasty in China, they did the same thing with opium. They shipped tons of opium to their enemies, got them stoned out of their mind, and they were less of an army because of that. They were less powerful, and they were broken down. So this is the type of thing that China is doing right now. Present day. You know, a lot of people don't even think that a war with China has started, but it definitely has. And they're doing the attacks. Social media has been big. Of course, everybody knows about TikTok. Psychological warfare is a lot more powerful than I thought. They went in a lot into psychological warfare on how effective it's been, even in Desert Storm. When we used it with the Iraqis and different wars around the world. It's very effective, and everybody in the military admits that. So that's the whole TikTok issue, is a little bit of psychological warfare, and they've been implanting it in different parts around the United States. So they've been doing that as well. Yeah, their theory on everything is everything can be a weapon and weaponize everything, with the whole stealth warfare. So it kind of boils down like the internet. They have the Chinese firewall up. We have complete open internet. So they have full use of our internet, and we can't see what's going on in their country. So they're going to use the internet as a weapon, with social media and different things like that. Everything, food. China owns, I believe, 13% of the farms in the United States. This should have never happened. But under Obama, and it doesn't have to do with blue and red or anything like that. This is much, much bigger. It's been going on for 100 years now. So it has nothing to do with the presidents. This is completely out of their control, out of their hands. There's little decisions that they have made and the United States has made that has maybe influenced this a bit. Trump putting on sanctions on China was one of the best things that have happened regarding this situation. Unfortunately, everything got drawn back and none of that is applicable now and none of it matters at this point. But that's one thing that he did. So, weaponize everything, weaponize trade, the stock market, the economy, food. Like I was saying, they own 13% of the farms. They pull back 13% on our produce. It's going to be almost catastrophic. I mean, little numbers, 13% isn't really a little number, but smaller numbers make a large rippling effect through the economy and our lives. Just being able to shut down the internet. The Colonial Pipeline. If you remember about 3 years ago, somewhere around there, it runs from Houston to Connecticut or something like that. They hacked into it, shut the whole thing down. Asked for $5 million in Bitcoin, 75 Bitcoin at the time. And in return, they gave a very slow process of reopening up the pipeline. It wasn't just, okay, here's the code, type in the code and you're good to go. It's like, no, you're going to have to work for it even still. They were brutal about it. They've been testing these things and they've been successful. If you want to take another one into consideration, which a lot of his information, the general's information was about, goes back to, I'm going to say, the SARS-CoV-2 epidemic that we had over the last few years. You know exactly what I'm talking about. They did the exact same thing with that as they did the drug war and using drugs as a weapon. They let international traffic to the Americas, in Europe, and completely locked down their country. And we didn't see that. Of course they deny it, but it's getting kind of obvious the more you learn about certain things. They have gotten their hands into all the international organizations, the WEF, the WHO. They listed off about 13 or 14 different international things, international organizations that they've been locked out of for a very long time, up until the 80s or 90s when, sorry, there's a big truck driving down a road on the other side of the trees there. But with our help, we have gotten him into these organizations, the World Trade Organization and all these different things. Since they've been in, they've been slowly pulling the power away from the United States, very strategically. When we wanted to get something done, we could go to the United Nations and we have an edge on the rest of the world, to where if we say something, they're going to comply to some extent just because we're the United States. Well, China is gaining that power now. So when they want to get things done, it's a little bit easier for them to get things done. Yeah, so anyway, that holds a little more power with the Chinese government to get into places. So let's take the epidemic for an example. They had the WHO praising them for their lockdowns. They had the WHO shying away from them saying that it came from Wuhan, that it was leaked, whether it was intentional or not. I'm sure they know, and they still haven't released that. And maybe 10, 15 years down the road, the information is going to come out, but it's not coming out right now because China has certain organizations kind of by the gonads. We don't have as much power in those organizations as we used to because we've been losing it to China. Now, this is a silent thing that's been going on in the background, that is making them much more powerful. Now, to talk real quick, and it's a big player in this whole doctrine that China has written up for their military, and that is the Persian Gulf War. Persian Gulf War, not Persian. Excuse me about that. But also known as the Iraqi War. Desert Storm is the other more popular name for it. So this is a war that the United States had in Iraq, if you don't know, back in 1991, if I remember right. And they learned quite a few things from this. One, and if you were alive during this time and conscious of what was going on, it was an absolutely amazing thing to experience. For the first time ever, we used psychological warfare as an offensive weapon with the United States going in there. And the way that we did that was through mass media, CNN. We had satellites all over Iraq, all over Saudi Arabia, Kuwait. We broadcasted the war live. And this is the first time anything like this has ever been done. And we got the rally of the American people behind the military. And that makes a big difference. You demoralize somebody, that makes a big difference in the opposite way, you know. Like we did in the Persian Gulf War. We would drop flyers at the next city that we were going to be going to saying, guess what, guys, you guys are next, and we're going to level you in about 15 minutes. So surrender, run for your lives, or whatever you want to do, but Wednesday at 3 o'clock, the bombs are going to start falling. And this completely psyched out the Iraqis, and a lot of them surrendered. A lot of them, you know, did take off running to other places, and then we just drop a couple bombs in the window and done deal. Very, very, very effective. And they realize that psychological warfare is a very big thing. And we all know, like the latest thing with TikTok and things like that, they have weaponized that in a psychological warfare. YouTube, Disney, Marriott hotels, even. The weaponization with our political divide, our gender divide, our the whole problem with trans and LGBTQ, the divide there, the division in religion and church. This isn't an accident. You know, this isn't the American people standing up for rights. There is a force behind this, and a purposeful, strategic force behind this. All this stuff is part of their plan. It sounds a little bit crazy, and it sounded a little bit crazy when I heard it, but when I really started thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, this is it. This is silent warfare. You know, we, as America, the way that we go to war is all-out brutality. We open up the war front and we click go, and the bombs start falling, the bullets start firing. We go for destruction, precision destruction, but destruction nonetheless, and to take the country out with brute force. We're in a different generation of warfare. China knows, Russia kind of knows, we know it. We're not out of this. We're just as much a part of this as China is. But it's a new generation of warfare. Some people say 4th generation warfare, 5th generation warfare. I'm just going to say new generation of warfare. We don't have to go in with our F-22s and, you know, aircraft carriers. If we learned anything, that Afghanistan, that was a complete failure. You know, we lost that. That was a war that we declared on a group, an organization, and we lost the war. A whole bunch of terrorists out in the middle of the desert with some AK-47s defeated the U.S. military. You know, that was a disgrace. It really was. I mean, we have the most advanced jets. We have the most advanced military. We have the most advanced cyber capabilities. And we couldn't win against the Taliban. That's our weak point. That's our weak point. And China knows this. And they're going to emphasize on this to the fullest degree. They realize that our financial system can be attacked physically on U.S. soil with 19 jihadists with box knives. This is our weak point. We're too open, we're too caring. Yes, come on in, come through our borders. Welcome to America, the land of the free, the home of the brave. This is our weak point. They're going to weaponize our freedoms. They're going to weaponize our liberty. It's a very sad thing to think about, but they're going to do it. They're going to have a total weaponization of everything, and that's something that they have in the doctrine as well. To weaponize everything. They're not going to leave anything out. Here's kind of the scary thing too, is, sorry, this is probably going to be a little bit of a long video, but I'm cutting 90% of the information out on this. With the Iraqi war, the Persian Gulf War, Desert Storm, shock and awe. They know the strategic advances that we made. They know how we planned that out, how we acted on it better than the United States Army. The general said that they definitely did their homework on this, and he admits that China knows more about the shock and awe strategy that we did than America does. They have analyzed it for decades since it happened. They've been infatuated with it. They've been obsessed with it because that's what made the success of that military operation or war, it might have been called a war back then still, so successful. And that is one of the cores to the Chinese strategy of war. So get ready. You know, I smile because it's ridiculously scary on what they are planning for us. It's going to be a total stealth war, shock and awe style onto American soil. I mean, yeah, it's a real eye-opener. If you want, the book that I read on it is called War Without Rules. And it's written by the general, and he's exposing everything as a translation of the Chinese doctrine. It's been revised about 13 times to make it palatable for American readers. He leaves out some of the things that don't really apply so much and really emphasizes and talks about, you know, the 5th chapter, the 8th chapter, and things like that that have to do with the silent warfare and the totality, war of totality, and things like that. So, you know, I think I talked about the fentanyl and the opium and stuff like that, weaponizing everything. Yeah, it's going to be, I really have a feeling that we keep pushing the issue. They're going into Taiwan, they're taking Taiwan. This isn't really any different than Russia going into Ukraine and taking Ukraine, except China owns Taiwan. They're a sovereign nation, but it is part of China. There's really not much of a reason that we are going in there. The only thing that really makes sense to me is it's over the chip war. They talk about artificial intelligence, on how much further advanced China is with AI than America is. Now, I've said before that the true capabilities of AI is going to come out after this war. We're going to get it from the military. We're very suppressed right now from AI and chatbots and, you know, video and photo creation and stuff like that. Ooh, that's neat. Yeah, okay. I messed with it for about 5 minutes, kind of laughed, and I haven't gone back to it since. That's not really artificial intelligence. I think once I can walk into my kitchen, tell my kitchen to cook me a beef Wellington for Saturday night, and it's going to do the shopping, pick up the ingredients, cook the ingredients, and do the dishes through robotics, AI through robotics, which is the way it's going, then I'll be fairly impressed with it. But China, they're a lot more advanced because they don't have freedom. They're obviously a communist party, and they dictate everything that everybody does in the country. Billions of people. They track everywhere they go. They have a social rating depending on how loyal you are to the Communist Party, you get more credits with the government. Now, that's all through artificial intelligence and cameras and tracking you and things like that. We're nowhere near that kind of capability yet. They know they're going to be able to replicate all this. They know how people think. They know how people act, how they walk, where they walk, how they travel, everything. And it's all getting implemented into the AI. Now, we don't have any of that, obviously, because we're a free country. Again, they're going to be weaponizing our freedoms. They're going to be weaponizing America against America. They're going to make us destroy ourselves, which is scary as hell. They're not going to fire one bullet. So I wanted to cut in here real quick because I'm sitting here editing my video and I realized I left out a key thing at a key spot. Saying that China is going to basically dominate us without firing a bullet. Now that is completely false, just for the fact that once anything happens to us, we're going to be the instigators with conventional warfare. We're going to go in, we're going to start attacking their ships, attack their land, attack all the stuff that we do in the way that we do. And China has already said many times that they're going to unleash hell on us if we do that. So, is there going to be a conventional war? Yes. I think it's going to be after all this stuff happens, but China will fire bullets. I don't think they'll fire nukes, but they are going to do the most damage that they can to the most powerful military in the world, which is us right now. So, is it going to happen? Yeah, it's going to happen. I honestly feel that we're going to wake up one day to a completely different world. It could happen in broad daylight. It could happen overnight. It could happen early in the morning. But one day from the 13th, not a good number, from the 21st of the month to the 22nd of the month, we're going to see the biggest change in the United States by a very far margin than we have ever seen, ever. Everything is going to change. It's going to be the war on totality. I started getting into the reasons that we're going there to Taiwan and protect Taiwan. It's because right now it is a war of the semiconductors. And I think America is afraid that if China gets full control over the semiconductor market, that they're going to advance the AI, and it's all about economics. If you pay attention to the stock market or anything like that, you've seen that Microsoft and Nvidia and these large businesses, Google, that are really in a battle for AI right now. Everybody's trying to outdo the other person. Stocks are absolutely going through the roof. People are making billions and billions of dollars on this AI race. And we want to keep it going. We don't want China to get that. We don't want China to get our economics, our money, our finances, anything like that. So that's why we're going there, to protect Taiwan. It doesn't have anything to do with being a free nation. It doesn't have anything to do with them becoming their own country. It doesn't have anything to do with China actually owning Taiwan and it being part of China in the first place. It doesn't have anything to do with that. It all has to do with economics. The reason everybody hates the United States is it's our economics. We're known to have planes of gold flying through the air. $26 billion for a plane when other countries are making them for millions. China's probably making them for $1 million and they're basically F-35s. We waste a lot of money. We're very arrogant with our money. Our sanctions on Russia. Our economy and our economics are the thing that are pushing most of the world away from us. We're losing the devaluation of the dollar. We're losing the world currency. This is all going to happen as part of China's plan. That's what they want. Number one, they want, the economics. The BRICS nations. China's heading that up. They have a lot of power against the United States right now, and they're turning the whole world against us as part of the silent warfare. They don't have to fire a bullet if the whole world turns around and sticks their middle finger up to us and walks away. we'll destroy ourselves. Actually, we're done at that point. I mean, without our economy, we're we're just right back down to any other European country at that point. You know, a lot of people, it kind of ticks me off that a lot of people say that we're going to be a third world country after all this. They have no clue what a third world country is. It's not going to get that way, but we are going to lose a lot of things. And just as a little bit of a bonus of doom and gloom here, you know, I say China is a peaceful country. They're a friendly country, and I honestly believe that they are. They don't want to go to war. They don't want to kill Americans. They don't want to kill anybody. It's against everything they believe in. But Russia does. And Russia would nuke us in an absolute heartbeat if they got permission from the United Nations, which China's getting them in their hand. And even just getting the okay from China. Well, guess what? They're partners. And that long meeting, the 3-day meeting that Xi Jinping had over in the Kremlin in Moscow, ended with media, and communist parties do not really let out media freely at all. So what gets into the media and what's recorded and put out to the world is purposely done and strategically done. And they said, yes, thank you for, I forget the exact thing, so I'm going to roughly paraphrase it, but thanks for being the partner. This has been 100 years in the making. We've been the superpower for 100 years, and, you know, congratulations, we're going to take over the United States together. So I'm worried about this because of the partnership, because China is going to be doing the silent warfare. Russia is good with just brutal conventional war. Turn cities into crumbles. They're very good at that, on just mass bombing, mass shelling. See, I might get flack for this too, but Russia hasn't even entered the war in Ukraine yet. It's been battled by the Wagner group. They've had little things to do with it, but they've done as much as we have with Ukraine. I mean, they haven't even opened up their box of goodies at all. Either have we. You know, we've just been supplying and teaching the Ukrainians to try to learn how to kick ass. And, you know, in ways they are right now. In ways they aren't. Why is that so? Because everybody knows we have World War III coming. East against West. Everybody's already pretty much picked sides. This is all unfolding right in front of our eyes right now. And Russia's saving the good stuff for us. You got to be able to see that. So I think with China being a friendly country, doing the silent warfare, staying out of the bullets, letting Russia do the dirty work with the bullets, bombs, and missiles, that's a damn scary combination. You got two superpowers working flawlessly together. Whether they like each other or not doesn't matter. They have one common goal, and that's to knock us out of the #1 position and to sink the United States. And I honestly believe with their strategies and the way that they are going about this. Now, I don't know much about, nobody knows much about the combination of Russia and China and their plans they have and the strategies they've put together, but they've talked about it. They know what's going on, and they are going to implement all of that. And I'm sure they're going to go ahead and, you know, teach Russia about the whole shock and awe, war of totality and weaponizing everything and doing all these things. They're two very big cyber attack countries. Yeah, it's going to boil down to we're going to wake up one day and it's going to be very sad. It's going to be very rough. Our world is going to change like we can't imagine. And it's really, really sad. But this is their plan. And, you know, how can you prep for something like this? I'm sitting here talking about this and I'm squeezing my hands together because I'm anxious, I'm upset, you know. we're going to lose the United States. We're going to lose America for what it is. What extent is it going to get to? I don't know. Nobody knows. But yeah, the ship's going to sink, and it's not going to be pretty, and it's going to catch the whole country with their pants down. And that's going to cause so many problems around the country. You know, and I stand behind the things that I said before. We're going to unite as Americans. Not completely. You know, we're going to have people that are going to be fighting for food. We're going to have people fighting for electricity. We're going to have people fighting for everything against other Americans. But we are going to come together in an aspect too. And I still stand behind this, that whenever we're done, we have glory days coming. We're going to rebuild our country. We're going to do these things that we've been wanting to do for a long time. We're going to be able to do it. Now the dollar is going to be hurt. Our economy is going to be devastated. Both are going to be devastated. But we're going to fix it. And we're going to do our best to get back on our feet, bloody and bruised. Even if we win it, there's no getting around what's coming. They're going to do most of their damage in a morning, sometime in December or something, you know, just some random day. They're going to do most of their damage, and they're going to be very successful at it. And that's, you know, I have a problem with, and I'm just going to add this in. When I don't know something, when I get into a conversation and I can't hold my own in a conversation, I have to learn about it. I did that with politics. There was a time where I couldn't tell you the difference between a Republican and I could not tell you the difference between I couldn't tell you the difference between a Democrat and a Republican. Okay, I couldn't get that out. So I learned. I started digging, and I can hold my conversation with most people now, intelligently. I didn't know much about the war. I didn't know much about all these things that are going on. There's a lot of stuff that aren't talked about. There's a lot of things that most people don't know, that the media is not talking about, that you got to go dig in and find out about these things, learn about these things. And the more I did it in this case, I came out pretty happy when it came to politics. When it comes to this World War III and this war with China and everything that's going on geopolitically, financially, it's really disturbing. I'm worried, and you know, I've been getting into prepping. How do you prep for this? You got to prep for everything. Prep for things you're not thinking about. Prep to go back to the 1700s. You know, I can't really say it any other way, because everything is going to be gone. Everything that we buy at a store is gone. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So I totally forgot about my list. Let me see if I really forgot anything. I think I covered most of it. I got a note on here, Millennials Kick Ass. That's going to be a video I'm going to be coming up with here shortly, because they're going to be going to war for us, and Generation Z is going to be going to war for us. So, you know, just like the World War II guys, you know, the ones that we make fun of right now might just save our country. So yeah, ending on that, our weaknesses. Yeah, you know, one thing I didn't talk about too much, that you know, we have a very technical army. That's not going to be very effective with what's coming on our shores. That's about the only thing that I didn't add in there. So long video, I know. My recording cut out at 30 minutes, so this is going to be a long one. I'm going to try to edit it down as much as I can. I'm going to have a lot of cuts in this video because I'm thinking about things and a lot of pauses, so I apologize about the little jittery video that's about to come out. So I'm going to try to condense it down to a manageable length. It's probably going to be close to a half hour regardless. That's the way I roll, apparently. So I hope everybody still has a good day. If you want to look into this, the information's out there. If you want to read the book, that would be awesome. You're going to get all the information in that. It's a war without rules. The unrestricted or I said it before, warfare, the doctrine that the Chinese made, is translated for free on Google. But it's a lot of gibberish, and it's not really American friendly. Look into everything yourself. fact check the heck out of this, fact check me, you know, do your own due diligence and research and look into this. So it might be the end of the world, it might be the end of the United States, but still try to have a good day. It's beautiful outside. I mean, this is what life's about. This is why I moved to Missouri here. I'm gonna really start considering getting some animals and things like that, just to be prepared. And I plan on doing quite a bit more investing into lead and brass, because that's going to be coming as well, whether we want it or not. So guys, have a good day. Thanks for staying to the end. If you made it to the end on this, that means a lot. Hit that subscribe button. I'm going to have a little link right there. Hit that and you can subscribe to the channel. Check out some of my other videos. I really appreciate it. And for this time, I'm going to mean it more than anything. Thanks for watching, and peace. I'm just going to go ahead and hold this up and fade it out afterwards, because we're going to need some peace in this world here coming up. I don't know when it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. So, is war going to come onto U.S. soil? Can the United States be attacked? Yes, most definitely it can, and it's going to hurt. So, have a good day, guys. I'll talk to you next time. Thanks for watching. Till next time, peace.